Y'all, we finally heard from Sako after days.
I don't know what the hell that was. We are here now. Hello, Matthew. I will be texting you later today to talk about a new shirt. I need my after the buzzer. That's right. Look at there. There you go. That's funny. Well, welcome everybody. It is another Tuesday. It is 10 o'clock. And today, what is today? Today is the 11th already. It's already August the 11th. Lord of mercy. Time is running so fast. I can't even tell you, man. It's just running away with us. Ooh, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe you can bring it up with you this weekend, huh? And I can give you some donatos. Anyway, welcome everybody. What's up? Yo, and yo to you too. You'll have to excuse me if I don't know everybody's name when you got them nice little screen names there. Ogre or Ogie. But anyway, it's 10 o'clock, and we're gonna tell everybody, number one, thank you for watching. It's kind of a down week. There's nothing really going on exceptional right now, except for what's coming up this weekend. But we do like to say thank you to everybody out there that watches the show, all of the regulars out here. If you just happen to come by here, hold on, what's this? That guy stole your thunder. Oh hell, that's the thing with Hollywood and all those Cali types, man. They not shy about borrowing your stuff and then daring you to do something about it. Bunch of things. I tell you, man, that's terrible. You watching the show working from home? What? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, what's that? What's that say right there? It says maxed. You got to get maxed, right? All right. Man, well, I hope you're not working too hard from home, man. I mean, it's awesome. I get to work from home like me right now. Hopefully, let me turn this damn light out. It's blind and everything. Hopefully next week or within the next couple of weeks, I'll be in the new studio, the new house, and everything else. We're still waiting on the damn electric company. It takes damn near a month to get electricity put in a new house. You got to make an appointment. Then they got to come out and walk your property. Then you got to get an electrician to install your meter pole. Then they got to come back and install your electric pole. Then they got to come back and put it all together and inspect your meter. It's like, God dang, man. Now I know why general contractors get paid so much, because they have to deal with all the headaches. But if you're out there today, I hope everybody survived this past weekend. It was hot, and I heard a lot of tempers were flaring in a lot of fields. A lot of jaw jacking more than normal. And I would just tell everybody, remember, it's hot, it's aggravating. People get wrung out, tired, and everything. So whatever happens in the net, just leave in between the nets. All right, guys. I personally have lost, 20-year-long friendships behind stuff that's happened behind paintball, which is the dumbest stuff ever. When you go and man, I wasn't pointing no fingers, Bondo. Man, but I've lost 20-year relationships over behind some dumb stuff behind paintball. And again, paintball's fun. Paintball, the pew pew life is for real. I love it. But, in a lot of cases, losing 20-year friendships over something that's said or done in the net. it's just really not worth it. Handle your business in the nets. In the nets is in the nets, right? In between those those high nets, that's where you leave it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I did hear from like not just one field, but like multiple fields, at least 3 to 4, where people were right on the flashpoint of almost throwing hands. And again, you throw hands, you get banned, you get ejected. If it gets too out of control, the cops get called. So that's negative, negative, negative. I mean, there's nothing good comes out of it. And the worst, the best outcome is you put somebody on their butt with a punch, and you're like, "Oh, I'm a man. I beat you." Yeah, and then they come up and clock you from behind with a tank. So I mean, it's just not worth it. So everybody, be aware that the heat makes people act a little goofy. But also, besides all the wonderful people that watch this show on all the different platforms, and this is like number 6 on the Major League Paintball Network, and After the Buzzer on YouTube, both of those places, I wish y'all would go and check them out. Click the like, subscribe, to share, whatever you want to do. You don't have to do none of that. I'm not a content creator trying to monetize this, but I do want to try to help the MLPB get some views to their site. And I know I've been promising about doing some interviews on here, but I think I finally figured it out. Did some really experimenting this weekend with the new format, and I think we're going to be good to go here pretty quick, like within the next 2 weeks. I don't know if I'm going to wait until I get over to the new place. I may do it this week, coming up. I don't know yet. I just got to wait and see who's available to do some interviews. I will be running that probably on YouTube only, just because of platform reasoning. I mean, the stuff that runs through the Facebook stuff, they're always trying to keep me down. The man's trying to keep me down. But that aside, hey, thank you to all the people that support the show, all you regular viewers, the USXBL, the greatest show on turf, with the Greg Pauley Championships coming in the near future. ASC Action Scenario Events, home of the best games in the woods, in the concept fields you can ever find. Check out ASC Action Scenario Events coming to a field near you. The next one's for the brand in October at Avid Extreme Sports Park North. The XTPL coming up this weekend. Champs and Challengers, man, and they're going to have some guest players out there, besides all the fit guys, Ryan Greenspan, Ronnie Dizon, Kyle Spica, and maybe some others. Who knows? But you want to check that out. Plus, Hardpoint coming this weekend. Got to go defend and get those rings, baby. Bam, bam, bam. You got to go get those. So we'll see y'all there this weekend. For all of you who haven't heard or don't know, or even those who don't care, I will be. What's it to say? The Bundo booth. What the Bundo booth? The Bundo booth will be there with 2 new items. Cool. I will be Saturday. I will be at the XTPL, and I will be commentating on the games. So be on your best behavior. If you're not, there's no telling what I might say about you. Right? I will be doing the main field up there. So everybody gets to show off and show out. That's going to be good. Then Sunday, I will be playing Hardpoint. So y'all get a chance to shoot me if I talk bad about you. Yippee. Yeah. Let's see here. Also, we'd like to welcome you and thank you and tell you that thanks to Welch Clothing for sponsoring the show, welchclothing.com. If you missed it last Wednesday, there's probably not a whole lot left on the website, in adult sizes. I know they got a lot of small stuff still, but check them out, welchclothing.com. Every Wednesday is Welch Wednesday, and the first Wednesday of every month, they do drop new items. And they are always happy to get pictures of you wearing your Welch out in the world, post it up on social media, tag Corey or Scott. They love it. Right? Also, Dirty by Design. I believe Dirty may be there this weekend too with the booth. And for those of you guys that are, looking for a new mask, looking for a new jersey, tech tee, or even Pokemon cards, Dirty by Design will be there this weekend. And last but certainly not least, man, Bundo International will be there this weekend. also. So that'll be king. And he said he's going to be there with 2 new items, man. I am really excited about that. I like to go by there and see the stuff he's got. Things like these fanny packs. But make sure you try on the fanny pack before you leave, because if you're a big guy like me, you may have to get you a belt extender, because Bondo, being a skinny guy, makes those things for skinny things. So check them out, right? Also, we'd like to thank all the fields where we like to play at. Oh, and MazinsPaintball.com. If you need new gear, if you need used gear, if you want to pick it up, want to sell it, want to trade, go over to MazinsPB.com, or just go by their store out there in, I believe, Plano. Fit. We like to play out at Paintball Fit. Man, what a great field that is. The current Mecca, as they say, official paintball games of Texas. My first home away from home for all your scenario games, hyperball, and mounds. Check them out. They have True Woods, which is a rarity nowadays. And then, of course, Avid Extreme Sports Park, both north and south. Up there in Guthrie and in Newcastle. Newcastle has the best grass in Oklahoma. And last but not least, certainly never least, Giant Paintball Park out there in Murphy, home of the Cosmic Paintball and many, many other things. Check them out. All right, what's coming up? Well, everybody knows this weekend. Oh, by the way, for the last few, I don't know how many shows, I'm always wearing somebody else's clothes. Hey, this team, hey, that field, hey, this thing, that thing. I hadn't been wearing a lot of my stuff lately. So, I broke out the BCIT gear today, my Villain Tech tee, and my City Lokes hat. By the way, if you ever want some custom license plate hat, like these right here. Boom, boom, boom. The best cheaters in Texas. CityLokes.com. They hooked me up. They take care of me. And they're just awesome people over there. You can design your own custom hat. And it's pretty badass. But I decided to wear my own stuff for a while. Showing some cheater stuff. The dirtiest player in the game. Got the little pirate logo on it. But anyway, August 15th and 16th, XTPL Champs, Challengers, and Hardpoint. Well, good morning, Mr. Bob. How you doing? Whoop, whoop. Yeah, we like to let's see here. There we go. But we like to tell everybody about Champs and Challengers. Challengers never had an X-Ball win. I mean, you just, that's just it. I thought August 15th was Bondo's birthday. I don't know what your birthday is, Bondo. I depend on Facebook to tell me whose birthdays when, because as many people that are on my friends list, I couldn't keep up with them. I barely keep up with my own birthday. If I wasn't born on Christmas, I'd never know what my own birthday was. I'm terrible with dates. I'm as bad with dates as I am with names. But Champs and Challengers, never had an X-Ball win. That's all it is to it. Just don't have an X-Ball win. What is the news for today? Well, there's not really a whole lot of big news, I mean, there's what's coming up, like Champs and Challengers, and then Champs, if you got an X-Ball win and you can play, in Champs. If you want to play a hard point, you get yourself a mechanical gun or put your gun down to. Oh my God, look who's back. Damn, so hyped for this weekend. Man, good for you. Welcome back, Mr. Bobby. Bobby, Coach Bobby. Everybody say hello to Coach Bobby. But this weekend is going to be kind of crazy. It's going to be hot. I hope you're hydrating now. Start drinking now. And again, like we said earlier, besides the normal fit guys that are going to be playing, coaching, appearing during the Champs Challengers thing, they'll be coaching the Challengers. They'll be playing in the Champs. There are going to be some guest players out there. Ah, look at that. People checking in saying, hello, Coach Bobby. There are going to be people out there playing in the champs and the challengers out there, but also in hard points. So that's going to be the really cool thing about it. But I will be commentating, and then there will be. But the guest stars coming supposedly that are coming in, and I haven't heard of. They got canceled yet, but I haven't heard who we got for Cup predictions. Cup, we ain't even had Texas yet. It's way too early for those kind of predictions. I mean, it's way too early. I mean, we can go start throwing out names, like and be fanboys and say, "Oh, I love these guys, so they're going to win." But it's just way too early for that, right? No, okay, there you go, Texas. We're going to talk about that, right? And we're going to do this too. We're going to talk about this in just a minute. But let me get through these. What's coming up? But we're going to have Ronnie Dizon, Kyle Spica, and Ryan Greenspan all supposedly going to make an appearance this weekend, right? Good day from Perth, Western Australia. Really? I hope so, man. That would be like the most awesome, cool thing for me today is to take it in, watch it on YouTube. That would be just like crazy. I'm hoping that I really hope you're out there, and I hope that you're having a good time out there. Guess who's showing up this weekend? Well, Johnny V. I'm hoping it's you, right? Right? I hope so. But that's who's supposed to come, plus many others, and also the fit guys. Then on August 22nd, the LAX 3-man out there in Slidell, Louisiana. You want to get out there for that? It is $50 per person. It is a scramble. There is 12. All right, cool beans, Johnny. Yes, sir. He is coming. There you go. Bop, bop. That's gonna be great. But it's $50 a person, man. I think paint's $50 a case. I think it's a scramble type event. $1,200, cash money. It is a fun time, and I guarantee you, if you go to LAX Extreme Sports Park, they will treat you like no other. They are awesome. Everybody there, from the No Smoke guys to the LA Extreme team to Aaron himself running it out there, and everybody out there is just number one. So make sure you try to get it. If you ain't doing nothing on the 22nd, scoot on down to Louisiana and get you some. September 17th and through the 20th, the NXL returns to Texas at Duck Creek in Garland at the city park, and so we can destroy the grass again. I suggest those of you who haven't yet already bought your pass, I suggest you get your a VIP parking pass, or you may be parking out in the nosebleed section. For those of you who are young and don't mind walking like a long way, cool. Old geezers like me, I'm parking as close as I can. If I could buy a pass to park up next to the net, I would. I don't give a damn. But 17th, 20th, NXL Texas returns to Garland. And this will be the fourth stop on the leg of 5, right? And we're going to talk about who we think is going to win that. Even though I think it's still just a little bit early for all that, because we don't know about the layout. We don't know exactly whose roster is going to be fully staffed and whose roster is not. And that always makes a difference, right? But then after that, October the 3rd and 4th, the first weekend in October, the brand returns to Avid Extreme Sports Park North. And again, back-to-back champion red team going for the three-peat. And I know I'm going to have to pay somebody for that, but, let's see here what we got going on. That's it. You got to see the layout, because I'm telling you, man, we've always talked about this. What's up, Mr. Chris? How you doing? There's teams that run. There's teams that shoot. I mean, I would call Fit a shooter team. I would call Red Legion a running team, right? Let's see what we got here. Said, I wish I could be balling out, but we get lucky to get 6 teams for a tournament. It would be insane to ever get a few U.S. pros to play paintball in the most isolated city in the world. Well, I can tell you the secret to that, especially pros in America. Pros in America will travel anywhere in the world to play paintball if they get their expenses covered. And that's the thing. And I know that, you're like, why would I want to pay somebody's plane ticket and hotel and all that other crap just for them to come play paintball? But if you're trying to boost your tournament up and, there's people out there, it's like anything else in the world, money talks. And, that's how they do it in Europe. There's local guys around here that go to Europe every year. I'm not saying, it don't cost them something, but I mean, they get, for lack of a better phrase, paid to play. I mean, they get their expenses covered. Somebody buys them a plane ticket, they don't have to pay entry. They just show, and it's, you can take, like, we'll take Chavi, for instance, the Warsaw Warrior. Got a couple of wins under his belt in the Millennium Series this year over in Europe. Team Warsaw, however you say it, brings him over and takes care of him, and he stunts out for him and performs, and they win. There's another team that gets Scott Stewart over there. I've seen several of the fit guys over there. Johnny Lukow went over and coached. So if you're really looking to try to get some pros over there, maybe get together as a team, everybody chip in a little bit of money, shop the best airplane prices, let whoever's coming over stay in one of your boys, houses. There you go. He was well worth it back to back. And I agree. I don't know, like, put him up in, in the guest bedroom and let's see what you can make happen. It's always an experience. And when you think that the pros, like, oh, I've always heard, like, well, the difference between a pro and like a really top tier D3, D2 player is just, is the gap is real small. But is it? When you start talking about elite players out here, the gap is as big as the Grand Canyon. They think faster, they move faster, they make decisions quicker. And that, for me, that's the biggest thing, is the decision making is instantaneous. They don't have to stop and try to puzzle piece A, puzzle piece B, puzzle piece C equals, okay, now we go do it. They just like bam, bam, bam. But that's what's happening. And we'll talk about the NXL Texas predictions here soon. And like I said, the brand this coming October 3rd and 4th, join Team Red. Join Team Red. I'm just telling you, if you want to win. Now, if you're just going out there for the experience and you want to be like a really big fish in a really small pond, you can join the blue side, the bluesers, the losers, those guys over there, But if you want to get all the glory, if you want to get all the trophies, if you want to get all the girls, and yes, that's a sexist comment, I know. But if you want to do all that, Team Red. Also, October 17th and 18th, the USXPL, the Greg Pauly Championships, the finale for the season, returns to Paintball Fit. I myself, Chris Lasoya, Matty Marshall, will be up there to call all the actions. And I'm expecting this to be probably the best championships we've had since Mike bought it, because, man, the points are so close. Like 9 points separates the top 6 teams in Elite. And let's just face it, I mean, no disrespect to D5 and D4, but I watch all the Elite games. I'm right there for every game. So that's what I know. I can go back and look at the results of all the other divisions. And yes, they do bring the championship games over to the main field, so I get to see that, but I don't get to see the day-to-day stuff. So what I know is what I see, and that's the Elite division. And with the points being so close and so much money, 12 grand, 12, who else pays 12 grand for a season championship? I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody, but I don't know who they are. And we're trying to figure out a way to make it bigger. So make sure you get signed up. Make sure you get paid. I know that with Champs Challengers this weekend, then you got NXL Texas, and now then the USXBL Championship. It's bam, 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 money out of the pocket, money out of the pocket, money out of the pocket. It's paintball's beating the dog out of you. And a lot of times you just got to decide what are you going to, where are you going to play, what's going to be, your league. But right now, and if you haven't seen it, get over to my page or look anywhere on Facebook right now. I think the pictures of the medallions for the Greg Pauly Championships are everywhere. It's been shared a whole lot. I'm super stoked about that. I don't see the paintball really does a whole lot as far as things like, other sports where they retire jerseys or, a Vince Lombardi trophy or things like that, are naming fields and stadiums after people. So to me, this is a really big thing. And I'm hoping with this cracking the seal and breaking that glass ceiling, I hope other things get done. And it would be kind of appropriate that the first thing that I know of being Greg Pauly, kind of leading the way even after he's gone. So I hope other things get named after people. I think we need to remember our history and the ones that came before us and the ones who paved the way. I think we need to really honor them, and that's just cool. All right. For the XTPL this weekend, we have 29 signed up, but we only have 20 paid. So that's 9 of the teams. Now there's 30 total. So anybody could jump in there right now, sign up, slip in, get paid, and maybe box you out. So if you haven't got paid, pay up, pay up. Now, a couple of those teams that I noticed that were signed up, I think are kind of troll teams. Almost every event, you get people that'll go in there and they'll sign up because they think it's funny, and they'll be like, hey, we're the Love Muscles, or, they'll put up some kind of weird name, usually, not always. Sometimes they use their real name, but then they'll load their roster with people that can't play, won't play, not going to be there. And they just kind of troll at everybody. And so they do that. So I don't look for them to fully play, but there is 30 spots there. 20 have paid. So there's another 10 spots out there. If you want to play the XTPL, either champs or challengers, better get your money in. The 3v3, we have 20 signed up. We have 18 paid. 3v3 is doing a lot better. Of course, it's a lot cheaper and it's a lot less cats to herd. But there is no cap on that. There is more room for them. So if you want to play 3v3, doesn't matter. Let's go. Let's get it going. The USXBL, like I said earlier, registration is open both for Florida and for Texas. It opened on the 10th yesterday. It is wide open. We don't have many teams signed up right now because of, like I said, Champs Challengers and NXL Texas, which is a big one. Everybody's trying to figure out, hey, where can I get the money? If I play this, do I want to play this? Do I want to play that? It's all that. But make sure you get it in there. You got a little time. Good morning, Mr. Travis Miller showed up this morning. How you doing, Trav? Good to see you, my friend. So, that's what's coming up. All right, now let's get to NXL Texas Pro predictions. And we all know that generally my predictions are good morning. Better late than never, man. The contract killer himself. Whoop, looky there, Mr. Gerald Garcia. How are you, my friend? Man, I missed you in San Antonio. Sad face. If you don't know, Contract Killer is putting out new products going to be launching at World Cup. But not only that, but right now, get your team signed up for the Contract Killer paint deal. Contact Gerald. I don't know if they can contact Mr. Brinkman directly, but I know you know. Let me see, what does he say here? He let you have the dungeon for a bit. Yeah, I'm sure you're in right in the middle of designing everything that they have. Because if you want the cool factor, I mean, who do you get to design it? Oh, let's see. What does Gerald do? Got an art studio because he's an artist. Got tattoo studios because he's an artist, and now he's doing design work because he's an artist. Yeah, I think that's who I'm going to get my cool stuff done. But check out the CK paint program Contact Gerald, reach out to CK. I guarantee you. Says we have room for 4 to 5 more teams for Texas, and we are sold out. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It tells you, because at the last event, a lot of people shot their paint. And again, I'm not taking one side or another. I'm talking to a guy that has been my friend for over 25 years. And to be a new upstart company like this, and I know Contract Killer's been around, but I mean, John Brinkman, Gerald Garcia, and all the people involved just kind of took it over here this year for them to come in and make such a big, right? See right here, you got a fan. DK for life. Best paint I've ever personally shot. But again, like I said, I'm not taking sides here. I'm not saying one paint over the other. I don't, but when you come in and be that new and make that big a splash, and a lot of paint has over the years, HK Army Paint did it, when Dyed Paint did it, ProShar did it. They come in, Valken did it. They make a splash, and then they kind of dwindle back. DK is taking a different route. They make a big splash, but then they limit. Instead of trying to scale up and get everybody, and maybe that's where the quality slips, they said, no, we're going to keep it this size, and we're going to treat the people that use our paint better than everybody else. So, hey, more power to them, but get a hold of them. They only got 4 or 5 spots left. Check out CK Paint, Contract Killers. All right, NXL Texas when it returns to Garland. Woo! Out there in Duck Creek. Let's see. And how many people are going to go early and watch the 3v3s? That's on Thursday, so you can. I think they're trying to get some more people into the vendor area and all that area earlier, so it'd be kind of cool. But in bracket A, Impact, Dynasty, the Ironmen, Sea Dogs, and Leverage. Pretty dang strong bracket right there. Right? Honestly, I kind of think this is probably like I don't know if it's the bracket of death. Good morning, Miss Zoe. The best boy. Woo. Yeah, I the best. I couldn't be the best announcer if it was just me up there. I don't think. I mean, you're up there with like Crystal Soya, who's a goat and a legend, and then you're up there with the voice of paintball, Maddie Marshall. But I appreciate it, Miss Zoe. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I will be doing the XTPL this weekend solo, so you'll probably get bored out of tears. But hey, I don't know if this bracket A is the bracket of death, but it's pretty goddamn close. I mean, the Sea Dogs have been doing good. I know they're down in the 4th slot, but they're still doing pretty good. The Ironman, hit or miss. Which Ironman team showing up? If it's the Ironman team from the first of the year, I don't know. If it's the Ironman team since Jesse Stevens joins and they continue their upward mobility, they could be spoiler very, very easily. Because I'm telling you, besides being a great player, Jesse Stevens is a great paintball mind. Listen to what I just told you. I will fight you on this hill. Jesse Stevens has a good paintball mind, right? Man, for the announcer booth always kills me. Well, let's see. But that's pretty good. But I still think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Impact. And as much as I hate to say it, I'm going to go ahead and give Dynasty the nod with the Iron Man getting a wild card slot. I really think so. In bracket B, Red Legion, Arsenal, LA Collision, Aftermath, and Distortion. And again, this is a bracket that's going to be really, really hard because you got 2 teams that like to run. And if this field plays any kind of fast, if it plays any kind of fast at all, if this is a running field like we've seen similar this year, Red Legion and Arsenal are just going to run rampant over each other, everybody. I mean, I don't see Distortion or Aftermath, either one having any ability LA Collision could possibly, again, depending on the layout, and we will revisit this list once the layout comes out. But LA Collision could pull in a wild card, kind of easy. They've been middle of the pack most of the year, for a new team that bought their way in. They're not sucking. I mean, they might not be standing out and, on the podium, but they're not sucking. But Red Legion and Arsenal, without seeing the layout, still feel like this is going to be probably the two teams that go. In bracket C, Damage, Uprising, Infamous, Heat, and the Jungle Cats. This is where I think the bracket of death is, only because it's so, there's no clear cut. I mean, obviously Damage, clear, Damage, right? But then Uprising's been doing good. Infamous, hit or miss, which team shows up? Really, I mean, that's a really big thing. Same thing for Heat. Heat didn't do good, then he did really well. He didn't do good, and they do really well. And then the Jungle Cats, they played spoiler for the last event, a couple of games. So, I mean, it just don't know. This one is a mixture all the way up. I'm going to say Damage. Oh, and then I'm going to pick Infamous. I honestly, that's a little bit of an emotional favorite pick, a little bias, because Uprising has been doing so well, and I should pick Uprising, but I'm going to pick Damage and Infamous, again, without seeing the layout, without knowing what the rosters are. And then in bracket D, the Texas bracket, the Texas bracket is crazy. I mean, you got 3 Texas teams out of 5, really kind of 4, because you got Fit, X Factor, Hurricanes, Aftershock, and Extreme. Well, anyway, I feel bad for Extreme, but holla at your boys. Y'all just ain't there. Aftershock, struggling this year, but they have deep connections on their pro and semi-pro. With semi-pro, Mark Johnson, Marky Franz on the pro line. There's deep Texas connections. There's Texas boys in this thing. And then you got the CK Hurricanes. Man, the Hurricanes right out of Greenville, Texas, or Campbell, wherever you want to say Mr. Brinkman's field is. But it's the Hurricanes, Texas team. X Factor, Texas team. Paintball Fit, Texas team. I think it's going to be Fit and X Factor, and this is where the second wild card is going to come from. Well, good morning, Mr. Gene. You're not late. You're never late. The fact that you show up makes it all good. Now, this is where the other wild card is going to come from. It's either going to be LA Collision in bracket B, or it's going to be the Hurricanes in bracket D. But every freaking event, there's always a team like the Jungle Cats or Distortion or Aftermath. Somebody always surprises you and makes a deep run and knocks all these predictions out of whack. But that's where we are right now. No layout, no roster confirmation. We're going to kind of just see where we're at right now. Okay? Now, let me look over here. Oh, well, what are we going to see? That's them, right? Let's see. I'm going to go over here and try to find, because I know everybody wants me to pick the XTPL events. Let's see if I can get this thing to work. Da. Champs and challengers. Wow. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 12 teams paid right now. We have 12 teams paid right now. I don't know. Who do I think is going to? What's up, Robo? How you doing, bro? I see you with your little RC car racing thing. You out there dominating a new hobby, man. Well, let's see. For the champs and challengers, we have the knockouts, we have the meanies, we have Ronnie's Raiders. I'm assuming that's going to be Ronnie Dizon's team, even though he doesn't have a roster up yet. PB Gateway All Stars, Outlaw AP Prime, the Hydra Kids, El Tigre, which I'm sure that has something to do with Chavi, Cold Blooded, Coalition, the Boat Squad, the Beefy Boys, BDC, and that's who we have that's not yet paid. Now, Amish Rage, I know will pay, and Jalisco Jam, which is Chavi's team, I know will pay. So that'll make 14 teams. I'll tell you right now, looking at rosters, I don't have a clue who's going to take it all, but I will pick 4 teams that I think are going to make it to the finals. Number 1, Amish Rage. I don't know how, but they always seem to find a way to win. Bang. I mean, they just do. Number 2, I think the Beefy Boys, which are knocking on the door all year long, are going to be there right there. Then after that, I think, let me see who they got for TKO. I'm sitting here trying to figure out who all these rosters are because I didn't. You took a break. Well, okay, look at here. Now, see, this is when the fanboy. Hey, bam, sucker. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Alexis. Hey, Mr. Henry, how you doing? Good morning, everybody. I was over there looking on another page, looking at the things. Here's the thing. Miss Mars, I absolutely think Beefy will win. I don't think that would have anything to do with the fact that your boyfriend plays for Beefy. You're just making a total professional pick right here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And right here, Beefy's gonna win. Quit playing. I ain't playing, man. Y'all still got some work to do, buddy. You know, I think you'll be in the mix, and I think you'll have the opportunity to win. But yeah, you took a break from your hobby to play paintball. Yeah, it's a 40-year break because you're an old man like me. But I mean, I think who does Coalition have? No. Now the Beefy Boys, Amish Rage are 2 of the ones that are going to go in. I think the Hydra Kids are going to make it into the Final 4, and then the last one is really going to be a mix of. Well, since I don't have all the rosters here, yeah. Who's Cold Blooded got? That I'm gonna say Cold Blooded probably going to be the 4th team going. But it's going to be very, very. Miss March says, no, it's based off performance, not being biased. Well, who are you getting your performance reports from? Have you been to practices? Just curious. Everybody knows I'm biased a little bit against the Beefy Boys. I'm a little bit biased for the Amish Rage because my grandson plays there. But, we'll see. All right. But that's kind of who I think it is as of right now. I will be there, like I said, this weekend, making the picks, making the doing the announcer duties, doing all that other bulls crap. Come by, say hello. I will be there both days. I hope to see you all there. Now then, before we get out of here, let me go on to my little this week's rant. Watching videos, she says. Okay, well, fair enough. Hey, I'm gonna let you have your pick. I hope you're right. I hope everybody's right. I hope everybody wins. I have no dog in this fight. It doesn't matter to me who wins. I just want everybody to enjoy it and have a good time. Wait a minute, hold on. What? You better be on the good behavior. Oh, and Bondo, I'm going to bring you that blue JT bottom that I have. I'll bring it to you this weekend. All right, this week's rant. What? Yeah, this week's rant. Yeah. This week's rant is about sponsorship. All right, before we get into what I think it is and what it is or isn't, tell me, people, what do you think sponsorship is, or what should it be? And what is it currently, right? Because I think the community itself, I think the whole paintball world really has a very screwed up, messed up, just oblivious thing to what sponsorship is and what it's not. If you're not, and I want to use a phrase I heard this week from someone, if you're not feeling the love from your sponsor, hey, why are you being sponsored by them, right? Now, I will tell you that what I think sponsorship should be, because it's not what I think it should be anymore. Sponsorship nowadays is what? It's just a discount, right? Let's see here. What sponsorship industry wide, and I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying every company, everybody, every field, every team, but generally sponsorship right now is like a partnership between a company and a team to help get their brand out there. Well, that's the politically correct definition of what it should be. But what it is right now, it's basically, let me see here. What does Miss Zoe say? It's currently discount. Sponsorship used to mean actual team help, comparing entry paint tab, company, etc. Yeah, amen, sister. It used to be that, right? Let's see here. What do we got? Like and share on YouTube. Let's give it a ride. Thank you. Okay, appreciate you, Gene. But it is. Sponsorship is just that right now. Generally speaking, throughout the industry, it is a discount. It is a sales rep somewhere who's in charge of being the team liaison that goes to teams and tells you why all the reasons are you should use their products. Oh, we're the best. Blah, blah, blah. We can get you this, this, and this, and this for this price, and we'll be there to support you. And the minute you write that check, the minute you buy that thing, they don't know you anymore. They don't know you anymore. Right? It's and I know everybody that plays nowadays are so sick of all this old fart saying, well, back in the day when sponsorship was, this and this. And maybe that's why there's no sponsorship around, was because maybe sponsorship went way too far the other direction and gave people too much. I can tell you, when I was sponsored by PMI, I mean, my team had one sponsorship and I had another sponsorship deal, but it benefited my team greatly. I could walk into the PMI warehouse and it was just like shopping with an unlimited credit card that I never had to pay. I don't feel like I ever abused it. I felt like I took very good care of my sponsor, and my sponsor took very good care of me. I mean, they had field support at tournaments, you know, they helped us arrange higher level practices. They helped us in every way imaginable. But it seems like nowadays sponsors, they're just looking for people because the industry is hurting financially so bad. They're looking for people, hey, use us and only us and nobody else. Let me see what he says. I'm here to get sponsored by CK. Gerald told me to. Okay. Well, I don't know. But sponsors seems to be almost a one-way street. Now, that being said, teams are not totally, I mean, they got to share some of the blame. They got to make sure some of the blame, because again, I've had places that would sponsor us and, treat us what I thought was fairly. And all they ask is, hey, can you like, share, tag, especially tag when you come to the field, tag this, tag that on your social media. And I could get my guys to do it for nothing in the world. They do one or two, Well, we're going to talk about Mr. Bondo and sponsorship. And we're going to talk about Dirty Designs because those are two I can convey that I know something about, right? That's right. Try to get you to help you to do the things you love to do. And again, teams are not totally not to blame here because, again, when we had PMI sponsorship was AKA evil, stuff, and we had to wear those not very attractive Echo 2020 masks. None of the guys wanted to wear them. They kicked, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, if you want to do what you want to do, then you don't get a sponsorship. But today's rant is mostly directed toward the industry. You get teams, you sign them up for whatever program. Almost every company has a program. I don't understand why people struggle with it either. I really don't. I mean, it takes 5 seconds out of your life and it costs you absolutely nothing. But once you get them into your program and you get them to buy a team package, you get everybody to buy a team package and and then all of a sudden, then it seems like all sponsors want to do is find reasons why you're not holding up your end of the bargain. It almost seems like that bigger companies are hiring you to be their salesperson, which they kind of are. Okay. You're supposed to be a brand ambassador, but they also want you to do this, this, and this to justify the 5 to 10% discount you got. Right. It's just crazy to me. And again, I understand that the industry's struggling and they try to sponsor as many people as they can and they're spreading out the thing like that. But when you dilute it down like that, I don't think it helps the industry. I don't think it helps teams. I think, in my opinion, companies, I don't care big or small, should help the teams that help the company. And if the teams aren't doing their part, then the company should just cut them loose. Let somebody else sponsor them and get a discount, blah, blah, blah. Right? I benefited from Robert's PMI deal. Oh my God. Just because players are like employees, you have good ones and you have bad ones. Yes, you do. That is true. Every little bit does help. Let me see what Matthew says here. I really do sacrifice a lot for my sponsor teams and players because I'm at the point I can write checks. What I can do is merchandise for you to sell and make up the finances. I know I will be able to assist you with someday. Good morning, Mr. Perry. How you doing, brother? Yeah, and again, big companies, small companies, little different thing here. I have the luxury of knowing that in 2024, I haven't got the 2025 numbers yet, and I might not. But I know what the industry made as a whole in 2024. And it's not that much. So I realize that their money is very limited. But instead of sponsoring, 20, 30, 40, 50 teams with a blah, blah, blah package and everybody getting to buy some gear that was marked up 40% so they could sell it at a 15% discount, maybe you get 10 teams or 5 teams or whatever teams you can and sponsor them and give them good help. I'll go back to the MPPL days when one of my lines was sponsored by Angel. Angel treated us amazing. Every event, 3 cases, 75 pods to a case, but 3 cases, brand new Fat Boy pods every event, delivered at the event. We didn't have to carry pods. And if we ran out, if we broke too many or something, there was more there waiting on us. Same thing with PMI for my PMI line, my Evil line. We got the chrome, if you remember the chrome pods, the ones that were all chrome and shiny and pretty. We got 3 to 4 cases of those every event, delivered at the event. We got so many pods that after the events, we would throw them over the nets to the kids full of paint. Angel sit there and they provided a VIP area where they brought in couches and a tent, and they had an air conditioner in the tent. And I mean, it wasn't cool in there, but it was, you could go stand in front of the air conditioner. and they had free drinks, and they had a staging area where you could dress and get undressed and things like that, but only for Angel teams. And but then they ranked their teams, and it was like Joy Division number one. And because that we did such a good job of marketing and branding and just sharing and just talking to people, like, hey, bringing people to the tent and introducing them to everybody, we were number two. Then it was Miami Rage. And what that meant was that when we went to have our gun tech, and if you had Angels back then, you had to have your gun tech a lot. Uh, we were second in line. It means the only person that would jump in front of us in a tech line would be the Joy Division guys. And there was a couple of times where some of my guys needed to have their gun tech, and they'd be working on a Miami Rage gun, and they'd push it aside. And Miami Rage was a pro team, but they would fix our guys' guns. And, our guys are down there playing in what was then novice, which would be basically D3. So that kind of sponsorship mattered, and they didn't sponsor everybody under the sun. What they did was they picked some teams that were good to them. We got new T-shirts every event so that we could walk around in the new Angel T-shirts, and everybody could see them and say, "Hey, where'd you get those shirts?" Blah blah blah. Send them over here. And there you go, right there. Matthew says it's a personality thing. Team players who don't ask for anything are my best reps. Players that do ask for free stuff all the time and never brought a single sale in, because usually people that are going in there begging with their hand out are usually entitled people. Now, but again, if an industry, if that's who they're sponsoring with discounts and stuff and this and that, if that's what you're doing, you get what you pay for. And a lot of teams don't know how to ask for sponsorship. What do you think how do you ask for sponsorship? What do you do? What do you say? Everybody thinks, oh, I got to be like number one. Let me see here. What's the match say? I am much better at scanning potential now. I've been really bad in past years, but now I'm really conservative. Who gets to wear the logo? Absolutely, because every time somebody wears your logo, whether you want them to or not, people are going to make that connection to you. They represent you. That's why I think like brands like CK are doing such a good job, because on their CK killers, they're being selective. They don't go out and say, hey, I want all of this team. They say, hey, I want this guy. And maybe that's the way sponsorship should go. Maybe it should be the guy, the guy that's willing to put himself out there and do for the company. I don't know. But I do know that if you as a company, if your goal is just to make sales and you feel like, your job is done once you sold that package and you're moving on to the next team to try to sell a package, then those teams are not going to feel the love. And as soon as that deal runs out or sooner, they're going to jump to another team. And I've watched it time and time again. Everybody's looking for the BBD, the bigger, better deal. They jump from this field to that field, from this paint company to that paint company, from this sponsorship to that sponsorship, trying to save $5. Those are not the guys I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for the guys that stick. I'm looking for the guys that do everything they say they'll do. And then, now, if you think you got to win to go ask for sponsorship, you are incorrect. You do not have to be a winning team. Number one, you have to be a brand ambassador. And that doesn't mean walking around and just 24/7, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. But everybody knows when you're in conversations in these little huddled up groups at events and stuff, and people are like, hey, what about this? Or what about that? Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? You don't just say, hey, it's Bondo, and wait for them to go and find Bondo on their own. Hey, it's Bondo International. This is their website. Hey, he's over here. Come on over. I'll introduce you. You walk somebody over there, you introduce them to Bondo. It takes 3 to 5 minutes out of your time, and you've been a good person. You've done your job. You've done more than your job. You've done really, really well. Right? That's what, that's just in my opinion, again. Hey, maybe it's my dream too. I've been around a long time, and And again, that's what the industry is. Yeah, exactly. Again, when you flip it back to the industry side of it, you can't make stuff right after World Cup. This is what we're going to have for the year, and it's going to stay relevant all year long. Walmart doesn't do that. Your stuff has to change. You have to keep pumping out things. Little John, uh, the owner, the original owner of Contract Killer, told me one time, a long time ago, when we were having a practice against him and Gerald Garcia of all people, in a at a Fort Paintball. He says, if you ever get into soft goods, if you ever decide to be a t-shirt guy, because I talked to him about BCIT and some other stuff, he said, never make more than 50 shirts. And I said, cool, got it. 50 shirts every size. He goes, no, hell no. 50 shirts total. He says, I make 50 shirts. I get stuck with at least 10 to 15 shirts every time. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy's got a national brand. His shirts are everywhere. But then I started thinking about it and I thought, I don't see a lot of the same shirts. So he's on to something here, right? If you can take 2 seconds to tag a company, you don't need to be sponsored. Yeah, if you can't take 2 seconds, no, amen. Amen. I'm telling you, you know, let's see here. Sponsorship is supposed to be I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. Not just I'll scratch yours if you do a good job on mine, right? All right, let's see here. And no one will admit that. Let's be real. Most sponsorships or lower divisional teams are just that they just want to feel cool so they can act like they are sponsored by Planet Eclipse. I agree with that. There is no sponsorships unless you're a pro team or the team is simply funded by somebody with money so that they can just pay for everything. That's the other way sponsorship, because at the end of the day, companies that aren't going to give things away for free because you don't actually return any value to them. I cannot disagree with that at all. I mean, again, what is your value? And again, like I was fixing to say, you don't have to win. Excuse me. Winning is not the prime thing here. Winning is great. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Winning is great. Right. But consistency is better. If you're in the top 4, 5, 6, top 8, if you're in the top 8 and you're making Sunday every time and they have a webcast and you're being talked about on the webcast, and then they put posts up, the top 10 teams, and you're always in the mix, guess what? Your name is mentioned probably 8 times to the winners 10 times. So consistency is key. You have guys out there that are consistently in the top 4, and then you'll have a team that'll come in and win one event and then drop way back down. The next year they'll win one event and drop way back down. Which team do you think is more valuable? It's the team that's more consistent, right? People think I'm out here big balling with Bondo, but actually I'm ordering 34 shirts at a time. But again, also know your market. If you know I normally sell 25 shirts, order 30 just in case, and then do a refresh and do another shirt and come up with a new idea. You can't coast on your laurels. But that kind of gets into running a company, not sponsorship. So being consistent is more important than being a winner. Winning is nice, right? But even more important than being consistent is being a good brand representative and knowing what to ask for. When these guys go, and again, like Justin said, divisional teams, really the best you can get, honestly, is some really good discount and maybe some tournament support, right? And I think there's some other things you could probably do in there, right? Like for me, the biggest thing that we got from Angel and PMI was pods. And I know that seems like such a trivial thing, but when you're traveling, especially for these teams that play NXL, if you're traveling and you don't have to haul pods there and you don't have to haul pods home, that's a big volume thing that you don't have to worry about. Now, I will tell you, we went to Huntington Beach one year and Evil didn't have our pods there. Angel didn't have our pods there. We didn't bring pods. Now, I was going to go to PMI and get some more pods for my other team. But at that time, the head guy at Angel said, you know what? No. We're at Huntington Beach. I'm going to drive to San Diego in his Jaguar. Yeah. I'm going to pick up some cases of pods and I'm going to drive them back. Well, that's exactly what he did. He drove down Thursday night, came back Thursday night. He pulled up. I was standing there. He pulls up in a Jaguar. He's got 2 cases in the back of a Jaguar trunk, which you know is tiny, 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 with the hood down, and he's got bungee cords holding it on. And somehow he stuck a case in the back seat and stuck one in the upper front seat. And the back seat is, I don't know if I could fit in the back seat, but he jammed this in there, brought 4 cases of pods back for us. That's the kind of support I'm talking about. Now, if you look at Dirty by Design, some of the beefy boys in here can tell you, Jimmy Bearden on his own dime, Dirty by Design, goes to every event and plays Pod Squad for them. He plays Pit Crew for them. You know, he provides them with, I don't know exactly what their whole deal is, but I know he cuts out, he doesn't play events so that he can be there for them because he sponsors them as a team and they do a lot of stuff through him. I know Bondo sponsors the Beefy Boys, and they do their branded tournament mode stuff through them and jerseys and other things through him. I mean, it's a very symbiotic relationship, and that's the way it should be, you know? Bondo would not exist without Dirty by Design. Well, there you go. Boy, you ain't going right there. Tag and check in at your home field. It goes a long way even to get a discount. And again, what should you expect as a divisional team for sponsorship? Honestly, how consistent are you? How long have you been? Do you think you'll be staying? I mean, those things are all questions you got to be asked. And then who are you going to talk to? Because unfortunately, like we talked about last week, some of the politics of paintball are starting to inch their way back into this stuff. If you pick this, you can't pick that. If you pick this, you can't play here or there. And it's just ridiculous. So for everybody out there in the larger corporate paintball world in charge of sponsorship, number one, trim the number of teams you have down. Quit trying to sponsor the whole dang thing. Now, the reason they do that is because if they sponsor 100 teams, then they might get the 20 likes, shares, and reposts that they want. So let's cut that number down to the number of teams you actually really think you can support well. And then let's require them to actually do what you need them to do, which is be a brand ambassador, right? Well, I know you're listening, Gerald, but you know all this. You know what to expect. You've been sponsored. You know what it's like when sponsorship blows up on you. You've seen every side of this industry as well as I have, and I ain't telling you nothing new. I think it's amazing. One of the great things that you do with CK is by limiting the number of teams you take to do. Y'all could be like some companies out there, offer $20 a case paint, you know, bring 4 trucks and, you know, and your paint quality's crap and, you know, whatever, and then be bankrupt, you know, in a year. Why? No. Paintball players are notoriously cheap, but they will, and the current price of guns will prove it and prove me out. If you offer good service, if you offer good product, paintball players will pay for it. They want it. They need it. So, to everybody out there in the big companies, limit the number of teams that you expect, right? And then expect the teams to do what they're supposed to. And teams, and again, don't leave this on your team captain, your team owner. You know, hell no. Take pride in the fact. And I've always heard this growing up, and I truly believe it. You play or represent the name on the front of the jersey, right? If you represent the name on the front of the jersey well, the name on the back of the jersey will get taken care of, right? Exactly. Do our goals align? Let's see here. Okay. CK has shown me a lot of love. I'm always be proud if they ask me to help with commercials or branding. I think that's great. And again, that's the one thing that paintball has over everybody else. I was telling somebody at the wrestling matches this past weekend, and there's a small wrestling company up here where I'm at that's trying to grow. They're never going to be WWE. They're never going to be AEW, none of that other stuff if you watch wrestling. But they just want to survive. And we were talking about doing webcasting and stuff like that. And I was bragging on the paintball community because I said, because the paintball community is very, very large on sharing. They're very big on that. One helping the other. Rising water lifts all ships, right? So, I really stand on that. I think we're doing good there, see. There you go. That is probably the biggest thing right there you could probably ever do. The one thing I promise I will always do as long as I'm with CK is I will always listen. And that right there is a phenomenal thing to do, right? Because if you have a sponsor that will listen and they will listen to your needs. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to, just because you say you want this stuff, they're going to give it to you. And they shouldn't. But every compromise, every middle ground, every understanding always starts with somebody talking, someone listening. And you as a team need to tell people what you would like, right? And they will tell you what they can do. And from there, it's a negotiation. And, if you walk away from the negotiation, feel like, well, you didn't get the respect you deserve and blah, 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 then a couple things. Number one, you might not deserve it, maybe. And if you do, you didn't do a good enough job selling yourself, right? Let's see here. Attitude to players and bad publicity for sponsors. I've seen it happen a lot in my years. I agree. You don't know what the 5 trolls on the internet say. Oh, that was a cool thing. You should have just put him in the dirt and kicked him. And all. No, because sponsors look at that and they go, oh, because they're not making money off tournament players. What they're doing is they're selling the cool factor. Every guy that's out in the woods with a tipman, they're out here trying to think about how they all want to be y'all. So that's who they're marketing to. They're marketing to the people that are not already there. Y'all are already there. Y'all already got a gun. You already got the clue, the gear. You already know who you're going to buy from. They're not that. You're there to get the new people, the ones that don't know, the cool factor. You're out there to look cool, be cool. Too many kids now disrespect the name on the jersey. You represent the entire organization and your teammates. Don't F it up. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And if you have thin skin, if you're going to get hot and hostile and quit and throw a fit and pitch your gun or do whatever little fit you do, every time somebody corrects you, criticizes you, tells you how you could do something better, number one, you miss the point because they're trying to help you get better. They're not out there trying to demean you, to make you feel less than, because as a coach, I don't want any of my players to feel less than. I want them to feel more than. But I also want to get the most out of them. And, sometimes, that tough love is the only way to get it. My kids used to have the best sponsorships ever, but the bank recently closed its doors. Yeah, my grandson said the same thing. When he got to be a grown up and got out and got his own job, his own place to live, had to pay his own paintball bills, he's like, dang, this stuff is expensive. Texas brands are very good on helping each other out. Me, Charles, Macy, and Bando Booth all make jerseys. We are constantly asking to help with booth tools and et cetera at events. And again, that's the thing, get along. And I find this to be mostly true, not in every aspect, but most of the smaller companies seem more connected to the players because the larger companies have so many people and they have to have so many people's permission to do this, to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that, that, that the smaller companies like Max, who's just Charles, he's easily accessible at events. He can go and make a decision. Bondo can. Jimmy can. Boom, boom. Mark Franz at the FSU booth, I mean, there's just so many people on that smaller level that can make that decision, right? I like this, Sean. So let me know when the bank reopens. And Robo says, "Hey, you need another kid? I hear you." Let's see what we got here. Another thing is ask yourself, what is the leeway of the sponsorship? I promise paintball business covers are the same of mostly busy people you will ever meet. Ask yourself, how tied are their hands and how do they help you to sweeten the deal? Again, yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that several sponsors from the NXL ask teams to stay behind and help them tear down their tents because when you go before you get there, you got like all day Wednesday, half the day Thursday to set up. It's kind of more like a leisurely thing than it is a rush. But come Sunday, about 12 o'clock, everybody starts breaking down and they got to be out of those places, by 10 o'clock that night. And it's sometimes it's a race. It's a maddening thing and packing up and loading all that heavy stuff and putting it on trailers and getting out and everybody's trying to get home. And I know teams are trying to get home, but again, what's the value? What are you getting from them? What are they asking from you? You need to find a balance. One of the things I think a lot of teams have forgotten about is when asking or taking on sponsorship is asking for one is simply just asking the sponsor, what can we do for you? Knowing what it's going to make it successful on both sides. A lot of teams nowadays take the sponsorship as the company owes them with no effort in return. And that's what we were just talking about. I agree. I 100% agree. I can't tell you the number of times that they go to a national sponsor or a local sponsor, and we'll use a local field example, Paintball Fit, right? And they go, well, what will you do? What can you do for us? And they're like, oh, well, we'll put your name on our jersey. Okay. So you got 5 guys running around out here with a little tiny logo right here that says Paintball Fit. How many people do you think that seeing that logo is going to actually bring to their cash register onto their field? Nada. Because you didn't go and talk to people and you didn't make an interaction and you didn't invite them here and you didn't share a link and you didn't do the other 100 things it takes literally less than a minute to do to pique somebody's curiosity to make them go. You just, well, I've got their logo. That's enough. I got your banner, and I got this big old Hydra banner right there. And I got this big old Hustle King banner here. And I got all these other banners that are hanging on my ceiling, and I got all those from back in the day when, I was sponsored by one way or another. And I get asked this all the time. I can go anywhere within 250, 300 miles of Dallas, in some directions further. And I can go to almost any field. And when I walk in there, whoever's running the place, the owner, the manager, whatever, they greet me nicely. They take very good care of me. I never ask for a discount. I never say, hey, man, can I get in for free? Or hey, but in general, I get very well taken care of. And people say, oh, how does that happen? Well, number one, if you've ever followed my Facebook page, you see that I share almost everybody's everything. Number two is I never talk bad about people ever. I don't talk down about another company, another field, another product, another thing. I talk up about the people that support me and I support the things that I use. If I tell you like, hey, check out Bondo International, that's because I bought Bondo International. If I say, play at Paintball Fit, it's because I've paid to play at Paintball Fit and I still like them. I still think it's a value and worth it. That's what you do, right? I go out here and I support the people I want to see succeed. If there's a particular company that I'm not a fan of, or I'm just not, all that hype on their product, I just, right? I just don't do it. I just don't talk about them. And if somebody asks me about them, I say, well, and I will use an example about a gun. I'm not a Shocker fan, and there's no hate at all on Shockers, right? I just, back when I played, with the Raiders and stuff, we had to use them, and I had a hybrid Shocker, and it was great gun, but it was so heavily upgraded and changed in aftermarket parts, and even then, I never felt 100% confident in it. So people would ask me, what do you think about a shocker? And my response would always be, it's not my favorite. I don't use them. I use this. And this is why. Because I'm not there to downgrade or badmouth another company. I don't feel like that does anybody any good. I'm here to talk up the companies that, and if people don't want to hear, hey, why do you use Planet Eclipse? Well, blah, blah, and they don't want to hear me rant for it, then that's okay. Have a nice day, and I'll shoot you with it later. It's cool, right? Let's see here. I'm getting behind on my comments. Putting up a booth by yourself, 3 to 4 hours, putting up a booth with someone else, 2 hours, putting up a booth with 3 or more, under an hour. There you go. There's the math, right? I'm literally making a rule next year player contracts. Jerseys through Bondo. Bondo on the elbow. Tucking it into the belt of the jersey means my logo is covered up anytime you play any boy. And again, see, that's one of those things that most people don't think about. Yeah, when you're walking around off the field and you don't have your pack on, it's hanging down. That's great, right? Logo placements. My number one sponsor, or my biggest sponsor, always goes right here. Because when you're playing, what's seen? What's in the pictures? Right here. Right here. These areas. Now, it's also covered somewhere here and on the back. But again, bigger. Right? Let me see Mrs. Zoe here. Make the post. Tell your friends. Make them get more sales. Sponsors support you. If you support them, bring them some beer, check in, see what they can be doing to make their life a little better. Always. I agree. I'll go on record here and saying that some of the people, or a lot of the people, almost all the people at Paintball Fit that play there, they go into Paintball Fit, and there's snacks there. There's soup, there's crackers, there's fresh fruit, there's a microwave, there's snacks, Pop-Tarts, things like that. How many people that play at Paintball Fit that swear they love Paintball Fit have actually taken, hey, here's 3 or 4 boxes of soup and here's 3 or 4 boxes of Pop-Tarts? How many? I would hazard a guess, not many. Everybody out there loves the free water that Paintball Fit provides. And again, it's a good thing that I applaud Fit, and I'm not saying you have to do it, but I mean, how many people have actually thought about doing it? Just because, one time a year, I know that I personally have taken all kind of snacks out there multiple times. I've taken out 10 cases of waters, one time or another, like, here you go, just because I'm giving back to the people that give to me. Right? Well, I try to be the best I can, but as a sponsor team, it should be something you believe in and want to genuinely see grow and be successful. Share posts, talk about the company candidly, speak about their products with confidence, and give constructive feedback that's honest. I agree. And that's one of the things where Gerald said he's listening. I guarantee you, if you came up and you said, hey, man, I got these elbow pads from you, and every time I dive, it tears right here on this thing. I guarantee you by the end of that night, he would have all of his product testers trying to slide the way you slide, seeing if it tears. And if it does, he's going to change it and fix it. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, what is a sponsorship? Right now, a sponsorship is discounts. What do you get? You get a discount, probably a discount the first time. Hey, you get a discount on this gear package. Okay, what am I expected of? We expect you to wear all the stuff you are and only that. If that's the deal you sign up for, live up to your word. And if you don't like it, then when it comes time to get a new sponsorship, don't renew, right? If you do like it and you want a little more, the next year, year 2, year 3, year 4, we had a 5-year plan with Angel. The first year, it was like 20%. That's what we got. By year 3, we were looking for 35 to 40%. By year 5, which we didn't make it, the NPPO went belly up. But year 5, our plan was to have free team guns, 50% discount on all other Angels we bought to resell to support the team. That's what we were shooting for because that's what they did. And that would be a phenomenal thing. But we, like I said, we were very, very good about marketing Angel, especially events. We'd bring in like the families of teams. We didn't go after a team that was shooting an ego. But if we saw them talking to their parents, when we caught them parents walking around, we're like, hey, come in here and have a sit down on the couch. Let us, show you around. Let me tell you about paintball. We're doing what their kids should have done. Then they go and tell their kids, man, those people over at Angel are real cool. And then by circle, here it comes. Those kids come into our thing. And then now we get to talk to them about Angel away from their primary sponsor. It's just how it worked. And we were pretty good at it. But anyway, anybody has any questions about how to get sponsored or anybody wants to, try to make a connection or, what to ask for, feel free to message me. Maybe we can sit down and get on a phone call and talk about it. We can run through it all and see what it takes. But I just figured I'd rant, and I kind of went all over the place. I kind of went toward the companies. I kind of went toward the teams. All I'm saying is for all you teams out there, for all you people out there, have realistic expectations of what can you do to help that company and what do you realistically expect them to do. There are some cases, the people I've talked to recently, I feel like their sponsorship should be better than they're getting because of their longevity and their position and being consistent and yada, yada, yada. And y'all know who you are, But again, how do you ask for it without being disrespectful and without being threatening, right? And just because you ask for it don't mean you get it. But if you ask for it now and then you ask for it again next year and you ask for it again the year after that and it's not ever forthcoming and they don't give you a pathway how to get there, then maybe it's time you changed. But that's going to do it. That's all for this week. I am way over my time. I am way over my voice limit. Thank you to everybody who's been a part of this one. Look for the new interview sessions coming up. And I'll see you this weekend out at Paintball Fit. Until then, thank you so much. Later, guys.